Doug with Andret's here. Hey, a lot of times we get clients that call us and they're asking us about how to apply Waterlox. And you know, there's some general principles. A lot of times the Waterlox products are applied with the lamb's wool, sometimes with a brush, sometimes a combination. So in this particular job, they were putting a first coat of the marine satin finish on. I've got an angled adapter on my pole so I can kind of stand back here. I can stand away and see the floor, number one. I can see how much I'm putting on, but I also have really good control. So what I want to demonstrate here is we're not taking any material off the brush. We're going to drip a little, but we're going to be on that in a minute, so there's no worry about that. But try not to drip it. But I'm going to take from here, I'm going to lay some material out on the floor. I want to kind of spread these piles evenly. See, because when you first put the brush down, you're going to lay down a really big pile, and you don't want to do that. So every start and stop you do is a potential for that, and every stop is a potential to put a pile there too. So what we want to do is the first motion, I'm going to put the paint or put the Waterlox on. Now that I've gotten rid of a little bit, I'm spreading this where I've distributed on my little piles. I'm spreading it out. Now I have a good amount of paint on of Waterlox on the brush. But if I want to, and I keep alluding to paint because a lot of the principles are the same, but one of the things that you want to do is once you feel like if there's too much there, then we'll kind of come out here a little bit on our next board, dry a little bit of that off the brush maybe for say, where I can go over here by the house. I don't want that heavy material on, so where I get the brush with what feels like, you know, about half full. I don't want to under apply here either, but I go ahead and do this left and right down here. We vacuumed diligently here. A lot of sanding went on. They actually just painted the house, so a lot of paint scraping, little paint dust, chips of paint. All that stuff can contaminate the finish. And another thing I like about this big plastic tray, instead of a pot, I can just use my brush and push it on. So I'm not bending down. Again, I can stand back. We don't want to go back too far because when it starts drying, when I say go back too far, like 4 or 5 feet back, if I see a little skip, I'm going to leave it alone and touch it up. I mean, if you go into it now and the Waterlox has started to settle or cure a little bit, it gets sticky. When we take the brush through it a second time, we will flatten out that finish. It'll be like a dry mark. So I'm only going to go back, you can see the distance here, about 5 boards back. And this is, wow, that's already getting a little sticky. So we're okay there, but my point is I don't want to go back more than 2 or 3 feet and reapply on the board. So I just want to spread it. And I'm going to start over at the angle. See, I've got that angled, that brush has got to be dead flat, but I want to take the longest stroke possible. We showed what happens when you start and stop. So let's just eliminate the starts and stops, and we'll just go all the way to the edge. And again, back here, start, go all the way to the edge, and that's going to eliminate the chance of getting skips. So I've gone through this at least 3 to 4 times, and then I spread it. I feel if I got a little heavy here, I may move that material out. But we just kind of, it's not that complicated. Just don't leave any puddles, but certainly don't leave any dry spots. So I'm putting it on pretty wet at first on these boards, making sure we're getting it nice and soaked. And then I can spread some of this by coming back this way just a little bit. One of the things you want to be aware of, if we've got cracks between the boards and you get too much finish build up, then there can be some slow drying if you got real thick material in between the boards. So I like taking this brush and going ahead, and I'm actually, if there are any puddles in the grooves, it's going to go ahead and spread them out. So I'm Doug Wilson, this is Andret's Paint, andrets.com.